So after long discussion that what should be a very good uh, domain in which you can gain some knowledge, then we zeroed on that pathogenesis related proteins are something which you need to understand. You need to learn about these proteins. To start with this pathogenesis related protein, I just wanted to give you some background related to this pathogenesis related protein. That agriculture crops worldwide, they suffer from array of different kind of fungal diseases, and these diseases are really dreaded and they causes severe yield losses. As I have already said that in my previous lectures, that plant do not contain a defined immune system, and they are very vulnerable to these pathogen attacks. In order to protect themselves from pathogens, plants, they actually evolved a number of defense responses that are elicited during their life cycle in response to developmental signals and pathogen attack. So upon interaction with these pathogens, plant initiate a complex network of defense mechanisms. These PR protein, they are actually the best studies plant defense responses. Plants express a wide variety of genes, including these PR proteins, in response to plant pathogen or uh, attack by any kind of pests. Sometimes, uh, because of some chemicals also, this PR protein releases from the plant. And here I want to mention that uh, chitinase, which is one of the most studied PR protein. In the second half of this lecture, I will give you a glimpse of practical uh, domain that how you express a chitinase gene in laboratory and how this purified chitinase gene can be used against this pathogen. Fine. So these PR proteins actually releases in very trace amount, but and it is like ubiquitous kind of thing. It is not that it this something attacks, then it start releasing PR protein. When pathogen attacks, these PR protein actually releases in higher amount. Fine. And different kind of PR proteins, that pathogens related proteins, are isolated from several crop plants, including mm, barley, even ginger, garlic. These there are several reports of PR proteins, and even tobacco and other plants. But PR proteins are actually categorized. They are divided into several families. And how it is divided? Because of their different serological relationships, their amino acid sequences, their different molecular weights, and certain other properties, which time to time authors recognize that yes, this is the way we can categorize, we can differentiate one class of PR protein to other. Uh, so there are actually more than 14 families of PR proteins that are recognized till date. And some of the families are most studied. They are PR1, which are anti-oomocyte and antifungal, PR2, PR3, which is exclusively chitinase is an example of PR3 proteins, PR4, PR6. Fine. Uh, so there is one more special characteristics of this PR protein, that they are often numerous isoforms of each PR proteins in various host plant. Although healthy plants contain trace amount of several PR proteins attacked by pathogens. So treatment with elicitor wounding or stress-induced transcription of a battery of genes that code for PR protein. It means in the start of the lecture, I have quoted that this is a bunch of complex network which is related with this PR protein release into the plant. So occurrence. So in several plant species, upon infection with viruses, viroids, different kind of bacteria, the development of symptom is accompanied by appearance of one or more proteins. So such proteins are found in tobacco and recently detected in several species. The number is around more than 16. So the occurrence of these new proteins are not pathogen specific, but it actually determined by reaction between host and pathogen. So it's a kind of MPMI, that is molecular plant pathogen interaction. It means if certain, suppose one class of virus, CMV or some TMV, they infect tobacco. So suppose there is a release of PR7. It does not mean that the same virus, when it infects with Dahlia or rose, the same PR protein will release. So this reaction is not pathogen specific. It is actually host specific. Fine. And if they are acting against same class of virus, it means there must be some correlation with these kind of PR protein. And all the identified by page run either in the absence or in the presence of SDS, it doesn't matter. So page means they are having different molecular weight or molecular mobility, that is called electrophoretic mobility. It depends. So at least tobacco and coffee, these PR proteins are found predominantly outside the cytoplasm in intercellular spaces. Fine. They must secreted through plasma lemma. Fine. At least 4 tobacco pathogenesis related protein are first identified are not glycoprotein, nor oxidase or hydrolase, ribonuclease, protease, and phosphatase, which are known to be present in intracellular spaces. It means they are having wide variety of chemical compositions. ठीक है? So what are the properties? क्या property है इन PR proteins की? So both tobacco and bean, PR eluted from gel filtration column, then bulk of protein from healthy leaves indicated they are of low molecular weight protein and their large polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis due to charge differences. It means इनकी साइज बहुत बड़ी नहीं होती है. That is, the gene responsible is a shorter in length. Fine, because it is a gene who decided that how lengthy a protein is going to be formed. So they are selective. They are selectively low pH where they are soluble than other proteins. I mean, different properties are indicated according to their molecular weight on solubility. One more thing which I want to quote here, that they are highly resistant to the endogenous plant protease. Fine. It means they are sensitive. They are protein, and it is not unnatural that they are sensitive towards protease function. So how they are induced? So they are induced by plasmolysis. Fine. And they are also induced artificially through the application of variety of chemicals. Various plant hormone as well as culture filtrate from pathogen fungus or bacterium. It has been proposed that induction might be the result of some type of stress. Fine. When stress is applied, so there is a release of some hormone, and ethylene is predominant in such kind of release. So ethylene is produced by most plant tissue as a general reaction to stress, and PR proteins, that pathogenesis related proteins, can be induced in all tobacco tested to date by ethophone, by which ethylene released in plant, as well as natural precursor of ethylene, that is one amino cyclopropane and one carboxylic acid, that is ACC. So it has been speculated, it has been suggested that PRs, that pathogen related proteins, are mediated by ethylene. Okay? And it is experimentally proved in 1 or 2 plants, and tobacco was one of them. So here we can uh, make our mind that PR and ethylene production are somehow synonymous. Fine, this is one of the findings. So families, it is categorized here. It is like serial number from 1 to 14, and the families they are just noted like 1 PR 1 to 14, and there are type members. I mean, from where they are first reported, and these properties are mentioned here. In my next slides, I will mainly focus on PR3. Fine. These chitinase type 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, they all are the uh, included under this PR3 protein family. So this is now come to the pathogenesis related protein third. The example is chitinase. Chitinase, there are some important things which I want to share. Uh, like chitinase belongs to a kind of PR protein family, and it is a lytic enzyme, and it play a very vital role in plant defense against fungi due to its ability to digest chitin. You know where chitin is found? It is found in a number of plant pathogenic fungus, cockroaches. Their outer cover is made up of chitin. It has a property to hydrolytic cleavage of beta-1,4 glycosidic bond, which is present in the bipolymer of N-acetylglucosamine. And this N-acetylglucosamine is found in chitin. So how you increase the plant tolerance to this fungus? So there is one strategy, that constitutive expression or overexpression of chitinase enzyme. This is how you can protect a plant to the attack of this this fungus. Earlier report, like in by Asao et al. In 1997, and there are so many workers, they have reported to develop transgenic plants harboring chitinase gene for enhancing resistance against several phytopathogens. So the level of protection which is observed in transgenic plant harboring heterologous chitinase varies. It depends on the particular combination of enzyme, plant, and pathogen tested. And so far, there are actually two categories of chitinase. First one is exochitinase. It demonstrates activity only for the non-reducing end of the chitinase chain. And second one is endochitinase, which hydrolyze internal beta-1,4 glycoside bond. Fine. So these two category of chitinase being reported. And I have already quoted that these chitinase are induced in some plants in response to pathogen attack, as well as due to environmental stimuli. Here, I am going to show you to I am going to demonstrate you that how this barley chitinase, one barley chitinase gene is being tested against at least 10 group of fungus. Fine. So I have divided it into a major objective and minor objective. The major objective is to clone and express antifungal chitinase, which is isolated from barley. So how you achieve this major objective of expression? So I have divided into four specific objectives. The first one is amplification of that particular chitinase gene, then cloning of this chitinase gene into a expression vector. That expression vector will express its protein inside bacteria, and then overexpression with the help of induction with through IPTG and purification of chitinase. This is actually, I am trying to sum up the ideas of genetic engineering which you have studied last week. Okay, but there is no tissue culture. It is a pure genetic engineer work. So I have started this work, like you have already idea of shuttle vectors. You have already idea of these binary vectors. Plant expression vector, it means they express the protein inside the plant. Here, we are not using plant as a bioreactor. Here we are using a specific bacterial cell to express a foreign protein. Here we use PET28A+. This is a specialized expression vector which is used to express foreign protein inside a bacteria. And notably, I'm just trying to mention here that most of the vaccines and most of the antibodies which is developed inside a lab, they use the same expression vector system, that is PET28. Okay, and we first go through design the primer. So to design a primer, as you know, this module aim to bug your mind, because now you have an idea of bioinformatics, now you have idea of genetic engineering. So you just couple both the knowledge here. Fine. So you have to first design, and how you design it, you just check. This is a nucleotide sequence of barley chitinase complementary DNA. So you have to keep in mind that there should be no stop codon inside the whole stretch. So I start with here and end here. So one I will take as a forward, and second one is as a reverse oligos or reverse primers. Fine. By the time I am already assuming that you know how to develop primers. Okay. So this is the set of primer which is being developed using that sequence. Okay, and it is named as bar 2CF and bar 2CR. F means forward and R is reverse. Fine. And in one set, and D1 restriction site is attached, and in reverse, BAM site was attached. The idea of attaching this restriction site to enhance the ligation capability inside a vector. Fine. Because the ultimate goal is to introduce this gene inside the expression vector. So at first it was PCR amplified, and this is a picture, this is a gel picture of this PCR amplified chitinase gene. This is around 1.1 kb. You know that a very small protein is not functional. Fine. During genome shuffling, a number of similar proteins are being formed inside a cell. But in most of the cases, these proteins are not used by our system. Most of the proteins are, either degraded or it is not being accepted. Fine. So this is a minimum kind of, parameter through which we can speculate that a functional protein is being formed. It is around 1.1 kb. So its protein will be around 34-35 kilodalton. So this chitinase gene is first amplified, and this is now introduced inside the complementary site of this PET vector. This is already a construct where our chitinase gene is introduced in this section. Okay. So now we have named it PET bar 2 chi. Fine. So it is around 6283 base pair after the introduction of this target gene. So here I have already written that the amplified gene was digested with ND1 and BAMH1 enzyme and successfully ligated into PET28A plus in between ND1 and BAMH1 present in the multiple cloning site of the vector. So this is a recombinant plasmid, and this is drawn in this manner only. Now, because you have to use protein, you cannot use only few molecules of the recombinant protein. So you have to undergo transformation. You have to take the help of competent cell to transform so that a large amount of protein can be isolated from there and can be used. So we have used E. coli BL21DE3. If you remember, during my plant expression vector lecture, I have quoted that Escherichia coli DH5 alpha we are generally using. Here, that competent cell, that E. coli, the strain has been changed. It is BL21DE3 because the purpose is changed. Fine. And the transformant were selected using kanamycin. Why we use kanamycin? Because in this vector, the kanamycin resistant genes are present. Okay. Now, how you will decide that it is a recombinant vector? Then use restriction enzyme analysis. Fine. Use ND1 and BAMH1, and it will release from here, and you will get two bands in a gel. The upper one will be only this portion, and the lower one will be your gene of interest. This is how you can decide that yes, this vector is now recombinant vector. So now it is confirmed that it is recombinant vector. Now there is some technical thing like this plasmid is now kept for growth, for overnight growth. Fine. And after a certain OD, IPTZ was used to induce protein production, and IPTZ as a concentration of 0.25 millimolar. This is generally been used when we go for protein expression. Fine. So when you give the induction, so after 4 to 6 hours, generally we go for protein isolation, and protein is inside. It is not floating on the surface of your this broth. So you have to use sonicator, means it sonicate the whole set of cells. Fine. It uses the sonic waves to disrupt the whole cell. The sonicated cell were then centrifuged for 10 minutes at 10,000 RPM. Now the supernatant pellet were analyzed in SDS page, because we never know that this protein is expressed endogenously or exogenously. Fine. If it is expressing endogenously, the protein can be recovered from pellet. If it is expressing exogenously, the protein can be recovered from supernatant. Fine. So we have now go for this. This is a page picture, and we finally come to know that this expression, the higher expression, is found in pellet, not in supernatant. Fine. It means the target protein are in a cluster inside the pellet. You can see that this is 35 kilodalton chitinase. Fine. So this chitinase, I mean, this is just a based on size, we have assumed that our chitinase is giving expression. But is this a pakka confirmation? No. We have to go for this protein-protein interaction that is called Western blot. So with the help of a specific antibody, we come to know that yes, this is the chitinase which we are going to express. And you can see this is the Western blot picture of purified chitinase. Here I am omitting the details of purification because this will make the whole lecture very lengthy. So this is a purified chitinase, and we, after the Western blot, we come to know that no, this is my target protein. So after then, because this is a direct applicative work, we have to ascertain, we have to justify that this particular protein is working against fungus. Fine. So, and for antifungal assay, we used 12 different species of fungus. The names are here: the Botrytis, Bipolaris, Alternaria, Rhizoctia solani, Pythium. So many different fungus we have used, and I just want to inform that it was good or very good or excellent in most of the cases. So I have going to show you only two antifungal pictures here. This is antifungal activity of purified chitinase. Fine. We in one we use Botrytis, and second one is Alternaria. Alternaria is very common fungus which is found everywhere. And A is PBS buffer. It is as a control at pH almost neutral pH, and in this we use 100 microgram of chitinase dissolved in PBS, and here we use 300 microgram of chitinase. And here, with the help of borer, we introduce some fungus and allow to grow for 7-8 days. Fine. So after 6-7 days, what we have observed that it has almost surrounded the control. Fine. The zone of inhibition is observed, clearly observed in both the cases, and it is higher where we used higher amount of chitinase. So that strategy, that hypothesis was successful. So this is how. Now the next work which can be done, that you can introduce this gene inside plant, and we can assess the efficacy of this gene against several class of viruses. So this is how this analysis is being done. Now I want to discuss some more points here, like role of chitinase in plant defense. The interaction between a pathogen and its host plant initiate a complex network of defense mechanism, including the synthesis of polymer forming physical barriers such as lignin and cellulose, and the synthesis of PR proteins. And I have already quoted that chitinase is one of the best studied class in this domain. So it is complicated to elucidate the specific roles of chitinase in plant defense, despite the very fact that inducibility of chitinase and chitinase gene as a result of pathogen attack is well known. The time for chitinase induction is also depend on the specific pathogen host interaction and varies from minutes to 1 or 2 days. ठीक है. After induction, the time course of chitinase activity is in the range of several days. Based on these studies on time frame, it is suggested that the role of chitinase in plant defense is mainly to reduce pathogen growth and sporulation at later disease stages, rather than to involve in early events of the host-pathogen interaction. However, different chitinase classes may play different role in plant defenses. The dramatic increase in chitinase activity is a result of PR induction, together with evidence of chitinase antifungal activity in vitro, strongly support the correlation observation that chitinase are key enzyme in antifungal plant defense. So this is, I just want to convey the message that role of chitinase in plant defense is actually inevitable and well documented. There are other antifungal activities of chitinase are also there because their mode of actions when it is isolated from different plant sources are actually different. So this is all about the chitinase and its role, it's how you express inside a plant expression system and how you can express and you can use it. However,